What's good, Fit family? I'm Mayo. Welcome to the Myoathletix hip stretch series, where we will go through a list of exercises that improves joint mobility as well as muscle flexibility around the hip complex. Let's get started. Okay, Fit family, let's get into our first dynamic mobility segment, where our goal is to mobilize the joint and surrounding ligaments, as well as promote blood flow and activate the muscle fibers. Let's get into it. Our first exercise will be internal rotation. Very smooth and easy, just like so. Okay, now, if you're feeling a little bit of stiffness when performing this exercise, don't worry, okay? You go through very gentle and easy ranges of motion, and then as the muscles begin to warm up and the joints begin to get more synovial fluid inside of them, you begin to feel that range of motion increase. Nice and easy, not too fast, not too slow. Okay, you're really gonna feel that mobilization of those joints going through this exercise. And like I said, we'll get into our stretches later, but the biggest thing is to mobilize the joints and the surrounding tissues. What I recommend, we do this exercise 3 sets between 30 to 45 seconds and then repeat. Feeling that right now. If you want to add a little extension right there at the shoulder to get more motion going through the hip, that's totally fine if you can tolerate that. But if not, no problem. Just keep moving and grooving. And we relax and perform it again. And I say when you relax, anywhere between 10 to 15 seconds of rest is totally fine. And then get right back into it. And like I said, guys, when we talk about internal rotation, it's not a movement that we perform a lot. So it's super important to get that range through all facets of the hip. And we'll go through each and every one of those ranges of motion in our segment. I pause a little bit to get a little more activation going through those joints. I stop, rest 10 to 15 seconds, and then we're back at it again. Make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. And like I said, as we continue to go through this exercise, you're gonna feel yourself increasing in the range of motion through the joint capsule. And whether you're an athlete, a business owner, or stay-at-home mom, it's super important to get that range of motion and mobility through the hip. All right, feeling good. Awesome. Let's get into our next exercise, hip extension. Now, again, I'm super big on dynamic mobility. What does that mean? Instead of holding a stretch for a certain period of time, I want to go through my range of motion with active movement. So we're first going to start with, or our next exercise is going to be hip extension, So you see I'm here. I'm in what we call a split squat position. Okay? So again, you see me right here in the split squat position. My hip is extended, my glutes are activated. I am now in a position to stretch out my hip flexor. Okay. Now, you know, in our world today, we're always sitting in desk, sitting on by the computer, sitting on our couches. Very, very rarely do we have the opportunity to get through full hip extension. Why is it important? Now, when I extend my hip, I have the opportunity to stretch out my psoas, my main hip flexor, stretch out some of my quad muscles, more specifically my rectus femoris. I get to open up my hips, which improves blood flow like we talked about earlier in our segment. And again, mobilizing that joint. And then I go the opposite side. Again, nice and easy. You may not be able to get a full range of motion like I'm getting right now, but it's okay. You probe, you work the range of motion, and then with time, you'll get deeper and deeper. And yeah, you may sweat a little bit during this segment. It's okay. Because like I said, we're going to do active movement first. Getting the temperature, body temperature up and the blood flowing. And just like before, I pause, rest for 10 to 15 seconds, and I'm back at it again. Like we talked about earlier, make sure we're breathing. We're not holding our breath. Get some good oxygen in and working through that range of motion. Another side. All right, guys, so we just begun to mobilize our hip. So in our previous exercise, we were in a split squat position and we were promoting hip extension, stretching out our hip flexors. So now we're going to add a small progression. We're going to add a twist. This allows us to get a more prominent stretch at the hip flexor, as well as mobilizing the thoracic and lumbar spine. And you see here how I go through my progression. A small and slight rotation with my split squat position. And again, you should feel more prominence along the hip flexor complex. Again, take it slow, guys, and make sure we're breathing. You're gonna feel a lot of tightness in the beginning, more likely than not, but it's okay. As you go through your reps, it should get looser and looser. Your body temperature start increasing. I'm feeling that right now. Again, going through my hip flexor, stretching that out, activate my glutes. Dynamic mobility. And then we'll go to the opposite side. Now, if you want to make this harder, you can get a med ball, twist along with it, get a little core activation going. If you're advanced enough to do that, great. If not, totally fine. We're still going through our progression, hip extension with a twist. Again, stretching out that hip flexor and mobilizing the thoracic and lumbar spine. Every rep, I should get deeper and deeper in my stretch and a little more range of motion. And you may feel your legs shaking a little bit. If you feel that, you stop and pause, take a deep breath, and get back into it. and you relax. Another super beneficial reason why we do this exercise, we can also account for muscle imbalances. Okay, so you see here, I may be keeping my left leg back with a twist. A lot of that pressure, a lot of that contraction is going towards my left-hand side. I can feel if I have the ability and the strength to stay in this flex position, stay in this extended position without shakiness or any type of muscle fatigue. And the exact same concept goes with the right-hand side. Same situation. When I go through this progression, are my legs shaking? Do I feel some fatigue? Do I feel some tightness? It's a great way to account for imbalances from left to right. And again, we're going through our progression. For my athletes, you want to make it a little bit faster? Make it a little bit faster. For my non-athletes, that's okay. We can slow it down. Either way, we're trying to get mobility going through the joint, activate the muscles, and promote blood flow. And other side. Again, please don't hold your breath. Fill the lungs with oxygen. So often I see a lot of my clients hold their breath during exercise and stretches. Don't do that. Fill the lungs with oxygen. And relax. Feeling good, feeling good. All right. Now, let's get into our next segment. Now we're gonna work on these adductors right here. These muscles on the inside of our legs, they can get very tight. We're in these crouch positions like so, flex positions in our seats, riding planes, on the computer, whatever it may be, right? We all go through it, including myself. So let's work through how we can get more range of motion along that segment of the joint, as well as activation of those muscles. So you see, I start in this position. My legs are stretched out wide. Now I don't want to be too wide because I don't want to over stretch or over mobilize. That can be very painful. When I'm going through the range of motion, I want it to be very seamless. Very seamless. I may not get the range I want initially, but as I continue to go through my exercises, I can feel my joint begin to mobilize and my muscles begin to create more flexibility. Again, nice and easy, guys. This is not meant to be super strenuous. This is not meant to hurt. It's meant to mobilize and create more flexibility so we can move and groove throughout our days with efficiency and ease. See, every rep I get a little bit deeper. That's what I want, a little bit deeper. And again, guys, this segment, you may not get all the range of motion that you want right now. That's okay. What we do is run this series back and we keep working through these progressions. Very easy. I take a 10 to 15 minute rest. 10 to 15 second rest, and I'm back at it. And again, it's okay to kind of move around a little bit. You get some more motion going. Okay, feel yourself out. Get back into your position. And then we're at it again. A little pause is okay, just to really get a little extra range going. Like I said, we're not really static stretching right now. We're just going to do the dynamic mobility. You get a lot more flexibility and mobility going if you stretch with movement. This is why dynamic mobility is super important. Mobilizing and working through your movement patterns, increasing that blood flow, getting those joints nice and mobilized. Feeling good, feeling good. And we're going again one more time after our 10 to 15 second rest. Like I said, guys, it's cool. It's okay to sweat a little bit. It's okay to get that body temperature up a little bit. We want to promote that blood flow. We want to get those muscles nice and warm. It's cool. Whether you're doing this activity to start the day, or you're doing this before a workout as a warm up, or hell, even when you're doing it at home before you go to sleep, it's super, super important to understand it's okay to get that body temperature up. It's okay to feel a little bit of stiffness. We're working through it right now. This is the reason why we're doing this, working through it. See, right now, I'm kind of just probing around through my movement patterns. Feeling good, then I get back into it. Very easy. And I'm breathing. Please, do not hold your breath. Breathe. Maybe add a little pause, and then back. And then back. And then back. Now, get into our next segment. You see, my knee is on the ground. Nice and easy, bam. I get back into it. I mobilize. This is a very subtle movement. So I stretch here, and I simply come back, and I feel that stretch going all through my capsule right here. You're gonna feel right in the groin area. Again, don't stretch too deep. We're not trying to pull a muscle, we're not trying to strain a muscle. We're just trying to mobilize the joint. It's a very subtle movement, guys. The movement before this one was a lot more prominent. You can really see the range of motion. This one, we're really now attacking the joint segment. Very subtle, very, very subtle. And then I go the opposite side. Again, my knee is here. I get enough of a stretch where I feel a little bit of pull. Not too much of a pull. Again, I'm not trying to strain the muscle. I lean over toward my left-hand side in this situation, and I'm back towards my right-hand side, feeling that stretch going through my adductor. Very subtle movement, guys, but I will feel my hip capsule open up doing this movement. Super effective, super, super effective. Feeling that right now. I'm gonna hop up a little bit, shake it off. Should be feeling that joint mobilized right now. Feeling good, feeling nice, feeling loose. Like I said, I give myself a little pause time. Now right back at it, one more time. And again, like I said, guys, you don't have to get the same amount of range of motion as me. We can shorten up a little bit, okay? I'll give you an example. So me shortening it up, so you see how it's all the way out here, doing that movement, okay? It's okay to bring my leg in a little bit. It's okay to bring my leg in a little bit. It's all good. Like I said, we're working through ranges of motion very smoothly. Just working those ranges of motion. Okay, you don't want to overstretch. You don't want to pull a muscle. You don't want to strain a muscle. None of that stuff. Okay, this is not meant to hurt, guys. Again, like I said, it's meant to mobilize. So again, same situation. I bring my foot in a little bit. Lean towards my left on this situation, and back towards my right. Lean towards my left and back towards my right, feeling my hip capsule open up very easily, very gently. I can't stress that enough, guys. Feeling that right there. All right, now we got those adductors nice and activated. Joint capsule's feeling mobilized. I can feel it right now. You should be feeling it right now too in this part of the segment. And then we get into our final dynamic mobility exercise, which is what we call our hip helicopter with external rotation. This is an advanced exercise, guys. I cannot lie to you. It is an advanced exercise. However, I will go through progressions and regressions of the exercise to make it easy for you. So, in order for this to happen, you do want to get some type of maybe plyo box or a bench. Okay, I'm gonna bring one right now. So in my situation, I got this nice blue bench here. Okay. So you see that we've been really focusing on hip extension a lot. Again, a lot of people, especially in our world today, aren't getting that hip extension they need to open up the hips and the surrounding ligaments and muscles. So I'm gonna be here. Actually, I'm gonna start on my right side. I'm gonna be here, just like so. And I'm going to then open up and then back, what we call hip helicopter. Okay. Hip helicopter. So I get the extension piece with the external rotation piece. If you feel like your leg is shaking, you pause. Okay, relax a little bit. And then try to get back into it. Now, if you want to make it easier, you flex the knee. And I can be here, flexing the knee here. That takes away some of the pressure that you may feel on this opposing side. If I make it harder, I extend the knee. And I go through my progression. And again, I'm trying to promote that mobilization of the joint. You're gonna feel that joint capsule really open up right here. This is what when I turn my body like so, what we call external rotation of the hip complex. So we did our internal rotation. Now we're doing some external rotation. I relax, I go the other way. Easy peasy, guys. So like I said beforehand, if I want to make it a little bit harder, I extend my knee, go through my progression. If I want to make it easier, I flex my knee, go through my progression. Again, it's about where you are in your fitness journey. We're not all in the same place, but that's okay. We're just working through ranges of motion, working through our mobility, trying to get those muscles activated and that joint mobilized. For my advanced guys, for my advanced fitness glovers, let me extend that knee out for you. Hip helicopter. And like I said, this is a great way to find out if you do have muscular imbalances from a strength standpoint and or from a mobility and flexibility standpoint. Single leg exercises are great, guys, for understanding where you are from a balance, from right to left, all that good jazz, especially if you're super athletic, super active, trying to avoid injuries, things of that nature. Super, super important to incorporate single leg exercises. Super, super important. So again, I'm going through it. Going through it. And I can feel myself mobilizing. I can feel my capsule opening up. May pause a little bit, and I'm back. Little pause, and I'm back. And I'm back. We can go out other side. Wait about 10 to 15 seconds, and we're back at it. And again, if you're having problems doing that with the bench, that's cool too. You can simply just be here and rotate without the bench. That's cool. It's not a big deal. We're still extending the hip, and we're still promoting external rotation of the hip. I just want to give you guys a long line of progressions and regressions depending on your current mobility and flexibility level. Okay? And again, like I said, other side. Like I said, I had a little pause in there just to get a little more mobilization going. For those who love static stretching, I had a little pause. Now shake it off. Whew. Feeling that, guys, feeling that, feeling that, feeling that. And like I said, now I'm just kind of moving through things. I've gone through my internal rotation, I've gone through my external rotation, I've gone through my extensions with twists, I've gone through my hip helicopters, I've gone through my side lunges, I've gone through pretty much all the cardinal planes of range of motion within the hip. Internal rotation, external rotation, extension, adduction and abduction. And now I'm kind of just moving, going through my hip circles. Open up my hips. See, I'm kind of keeping my legs a little wider. Again, stretching out those adductors, mobilizing the joint. Again, I'm gonna feel that pull in my groin. Almost like I'm hula hooping a little bit, just slower. You know, anybody's used a hula hoop before? When you're circling back with the hip, same situation, I'm just going a little bit slower. And again, if my legs are shaking a little bit and I'm feeling like a little fatigue, I stop, rest, 10, 15, 20 seconds. I relax, and I'm back at it again. All right, guys, and that is our dynamic mobility hip series with Myoathletix.